Zeke and Charlie finally meet. But as the camera zooms out, only then did we find that all these things were under the surveillance of Frigg and others. Start with Vera. All the actions of the protagonist are known by the heirs of Ida. It seems like they can do anything. But there is someone else who is the real monitor. So who is this person behind the scenes? Many people think they are the Sage at the first time, because Nemesis is an important piece of the Sage. But the one who truly controls everything is someone we are extremely familiar with. Archon Elric, Executive Officer of High Crows District 9. All of this starts with a special meeting. When Plotty appeared, there is such a branch line. It's Plotty's memory of visiting Elric. It mentions Elric purpose. Empower the new Tower of Fantasy with the excuse of Grey Space Entity. From the latest main line, we know that High Crows. Two factions that exist. Pro-Omnium Energy and anti-Omnium Energy conservatives. The two camps have maintained a delicate balance since the Great Cataclysm. And the consensus between both sides is to maintain the operation of the existing Tower of Fantasy. No more authorization for new Omnium reactor. But Elric has been trying to break this balance. Finally, the opportunity has arrived. That's Domain 9's field energy crisis. Domain 9 needs to rely on Omnium Energy to maintain timestamp technology, so as to resist the invasion of darkness. So Omnium Energy is indispensable. Lon and Canro went to Vera through Celestial Gate for Omnium Energy. They thought the floating infection mine would be the solution. But when the protagonist goes to Vera for help. But she was rejected. At the same time, she was told that Tower of Fantasy could be built. From this point on, Domain 9 has fallen into Elric calculation. From the conversation by Lynn, we know that Vera. There are also original and conservative factions. And the reason why the Tower of Fantasy can't be used is also the result of the struggle between the two systems. Then we understand one thing. That's why Omnium Energy didn't admit that it was in the Marzoid ore. It's impossible because of research reasons. The research object of Enon Research Institute is Omnium Energy. It is easy to find that they are the same as Marzoid ore. The reason why we haven't discovered it yet. Because this is an excuse to appease the conservatives. As long as we don't admit that there is Omnium Energy in the Marzoid ore, conservatives can't oppose Omnium Energy. But with the emergence of Domain 9, the energy and field energy in the Marzoid ore are both Omnium Energy. It's already something that can't be kept hidden. So the original faction needs to be more radical for Vera's development. To prove the safety of Omnium Energy, the best experimental place is Domain 9. As long as Tower of Fantasy of Domain 9 succeeds, then Vera can restart Tower of Fantasy. It seems that High Crows is helping Domain 9. But at the same time, they are also conducting experiments on Domain 9. This will become a bargaining chip for the Omnium Energy faction to persuade the conservatives. Speaking of which, it feels absurd. Because since entering the game, most of the ideas we come into contact with are receptive to energy. So is Archon Elric, Executive Officer of District 9. Archon Larson of the 7th District. That's why we haven't been able to detect any issues yet. From Vera, who refused to provide the Marzoid ore to Asperia, Rivi was sent to rebuild the Infinite Sundial. Everything comes naturally. But it can be seen from Elric's visit to Plotty. All of this is prepared. Since we know that the energy and field energy of Marzoid ore are both Omnium Energy. So they set up this game. Yulin is likely also involved in it. This explanation is also very simple. Conservatives will never agree to build a new Tower of Fantasy. So what will inevitably contribute to all of this will be the original faction. Saying it's a layout. But this is not a conspiracy, it's a conspiracy. Even if Domain 9 knew this calculation, they could only accept it. Because Domain 9 really needs Omnium Energy. After learning about Elric layout. Another thing can also reveal clues. Who is constantly monitoring the protagonist. Our most intuitive feeling in the game is the son of the heirs of Ida. According to the angle of clemency. As if every move we make is under their surveillance. But the fact is not so. If the heirs of Ida want to spy on us, there are two ways. The first one is personnel tracking. That means when we get to Vera, someone has been following us all along. There are two types of personnel sources. One is that Vera has the heirs of Ida. The other is from Asperia. If it is the first type, it means that the heirs of Ida has not only taken root in Vera. At the same time, the power is also very strong, being able to monitor us from all angles without being detected. There must be a lot of personnel to be deployed. And it's like a confounding abyss operation. These are top secrets. Being able to obtain so much information. Internal penetration is also essential. But at Vera, we didn't get any information about it. If it was traced from Asperia. First of all, transmission is a problem. Secondly, it can prevent us from discovering it. And they have to follow us deep into the danger zone. The skills of the surveillance personnel are somewhat terrifying. If in Vera, they are likely to follow. It's totally unexpected to go to Domain 9. The heirs of Ida can't have people lurking in Domain 9, can he? So tracking personnel is not very realistic. The other way is through Shirley. Most people think that the heirs of Ida has cheated on Shirley. At first, I also thought so. But Shirley's body has been checked many times. After the battle from Tower of Fantasy, Shirley was successively checked by Dr. Claire, District 9. And Shelley, one by one. But no abnormalities were found. This means that Shirley is either not passive. Either the heirs of Aida's skill is too good. These inspection techniques cannot detect it. But now Shirley is in a coma. Is the monitoring still running? Sally just moved to Cetus Island. The angle of clemency appeared immediately. This indicates that surveillance still exists. But that's why. Only to discover the real surveillance methods of the heirs of Ida. The Sage has been spying on us through Yanua. Yanua is monitoring us through Hykros. So it's Hykros who's really watching us all the time. Hykros has always been worried about Shirley. So they sent us as guardians to accompany them. At the same time, they backed up our memories. But now it seems that they are very interested in us. Every move was reported to Hykros. As long as Hykros gets our news, that means the heirs of Ida knows our news. Even the Sage gets first-hand information. Taking the underwater battle as an example. This is a sudden situation in itself. But after we asked for help, the Angle of Clemency immediately began to act. Only because there is a senior insider Yanua in Hykros. We have already seen her abilities in her branch line. Easily obtained higher permissions. If it were her delivering the message, everything makes sense. But after the underwater battle, there were also new questions. Does Elric know that she is an undercover agent? In the plot, Yanua is undercover, and not nobody knows. The insider is Brevi. She has been fighting Yanua with stories she made up, using Demon King Knights and Braves to allude to their relationship. This shows that Yanua's disguise is not impeccable. At least there were loopholes in the underwater battle. Let's re-examine the original situation. The protagonist goes to the submarine volcano with Fiona and others. And then a large number of Abiais were discovered. Hurry to seek help from outside. And set the jumping anchor point at the bottom of the sea. When Hykros learned the news, he was equal to. The heirs of Ida also learned the news. The Sage would like to protect Nemesis. So he was ready to send the Angle of Clemency to support him. But the heirs of Ida wants to reach the battlefield quickly. They need the bending coordinates of the seabed. This needs the help of Hykros. So they had to contact Archon Elric, the executive officer of District 9. At this point, it's very interesting. Let's imagine. Elric is worrying about the candidates for support after receiving the news. Suddenly they received a letter from the heirs of Ida, expressing willingness for the future of humanity. Resist the invasion of Grey Space entity together. If you are Elric, suddenly receiving such news, can't you be suspicious? It's known that the heirs of Ida can monitor Vera. Then the problem of Grey Space entity has been known early before. But why did they choose to join forces at this point in time? This means that the heirs of Ida knows that Nemesis is in danger. How did they know that? The first one is surveillance, as we analyzed earlier. The second one is the mole. And she's also an insider with advanced permissions. The insider who can get the news of Vera. There won't be many people like this. Exclusion is enough to find out. After learning that Yanua stole the information in the branch line, he did not initiate a wanted operation. Except that he trusted Yanua. There may be another reason. That's Yanua is special to him. So here's the question. If Elric knew that Yanua was undercover, why does he still reuse her? This starts with a certain distillery. There is a mysterious organization in Detective Conan. More than half of the organization are undercover agents. But it cannot be denied that this organization is very powerful. Instead of collecting some miscellaneous soldiers to recharge, if undercover agents are used well, they can also have strong combat power. After all, it's still Elric who has no one available. The main line has already been clearly stated. Only Elric and Plotty in the headquarters are trustworthy. It can be seen that Elric is not likable in the headquarters. Otherwise, he doesn't have to deliberately ally with Plotty to set up a bureau. Yanua is like a bridge connecting the heirs of Ida. Sometimes he needs the heirs of Ida to do something. For example, Shirley has just arrived at Cetus Island. The heirs of Ida appeared. This presents a new problem. Does Yanua know that Elric knows that she is undercover? In fact, the relationships here are very complex. Mutual suspicion, but no actual evidence. Elric suspects Yanua is undercover. Yanua would also suspect that Elric knew she was undercover. But both sides are already using each other. When there is no substantial conflict of interest. As long as it's easy to use. Still that sentence. Elric really has no one available. However, this is still a low-level game. The high-level game is that Elric wants to see what the Sage wants to do. In Vera's line. He's been watching Shirley's every move. During this period, the heirs of Ida did not move. Until Shirley was in danger. Angle of Clemency crossed space support. This also confirms that the Sage has a conspiracy. So what is the purpose of the Sage? This has to be mentioned in the game. An inextricable tower of fantasy. Whatever the purpose of the Sage will have something to do with Tower of Fantasy. Vera can't restart Tower of Fantasy due to the influence of conservatives. But then a new Space Domain 9 were discovered. This becomes a new game point. The purpose of the Sage is to make Nemesis close to the grid. Elric's goal is to persuade conservatives through the new Tower of Fantasy. But the two of them are quite similar in one way. They are all people who pursue immortality. Do you feel like it's a bit brain-burning? Don't rush yet. There is also a third chess player. That's Nemesis. After Shirley wakes up, she has been hibernating all along. Until now, suddenly invading the grid. Caught everyone off guard. The plan of the Sage ran aground. Elric's plan has also been affected. With Gesto silent, Shirley's chess piece also surfaced. Hykros headquarters realized that the heirs of Ida was using Nemesis. Will also begin to intervene in the Gestos incident. But no matter how turbulent the situation in Tower of Fantasy is, everyone just needs to know the purpose of the old fox. That's the pursuit of immortality. Whether it's Hykros who boasts justice, or the heirs of Ida. They all have a common goal. That is eternal life. Anything related to a conspiracy. It's all related to this. With the exposure of Hycro's Omnium energy and conservatives, the power struggle suddenly became intense. They are also against Omnium energy. Will conservatives and the heirs of Ida have a private relationship? Same as the original faction. What's the difference between Elric Plotty and the old foxes who pursue immortality? Just the struggle between factions will take the Tower of Fantasy storyline to a new level. We hope 4.0 is signing up. That's all for this issue. Follow Xiaofeng to experience a different Tower of Fantasy.